equipment, which is telephone at its end. Communication channel. The telephone converts the sender's voice into a signal which is carried through the telephone cables to the receiver's end. Receiver. At receiver's end, the signal reaches to the communication equipment, telephone, which converts the signal back to voice form. The receiver now listens to this voice through the telephone at its end.
Chapter 9, Computer Ethics. Chapter Connect, Computer Ethics, the 10 Commandments, common issues of computer ethics, internet security, intellectual property rights, copyright, computer crime, computer ethics, those set of moral principles that regulate the use of computers are known as computer ethics. Computer ethics deals with the procedures, values, and practices that govern the process of consuming computing technology and its related disciplines without damaging or violating the moral values and beliefs of any individual, organization, or entity. Which computers giving us so much of ease and freedom, there are high chances that this freedom may be used in an unethical way. This is where the role of computer ethics came into picture. The 10 Commandments. Ethics is a branch of philosophy that deals with determining what is right and wrong. Listed below are 10 commandments to help us understand computer ethics. Thou shalt not use a computer to harm other people. If it is unethical to harm people by making a bomb, for example, it is equally bad to write program that handles the timing of bomb. Or to put it more simply, it is bad to steal and destroy other people's books and notebooks. It is equally bad to access and destroy their files. Thou shalt not interfere with other people's computer work. Computer viruses are small programs that disrupt other people's computer work by destroying their files, taking huge amount of computer time or memory, or by simply displaying annoying messages, generating and consciously spreading computer viruses is unethical. Thou shalt not snoop around in other people's file. Reading other people's email messages is as bad as opening and reading their letters. This is invading their privacy. Obtaining other people's non-public files should be judged same way as breaking into their rooms and stealing their documents. Text documents on the internet may be protected by encryption. Thou shalt not use a computer to steal. Using a computer to break into the accounts of the company or a bank and transferring money should be judged the same way as robbery. It is illegal and there are strict laws against it. Thou shalt not use a computer to bear false witness. The internet can spread untruth as fast as it can spread truth. Putting out false information to the world is bad. For instance, spreading false rumors about a person or false propaganda about historical events is wrong. Thou shalt not use or copy software for which we have not paid. Software is an intellectual product. In that way, it is like a book. Obtaining illegal copies of copyrighted software is as bad as photocopying a copyrighted book. There are laws against both. Information about the copyright owner can be embedded by a process called watermarking into pictures in the digital format. Thou shalt not use other people's computer resources without authorization. Multi-user systems use user IDs and passwords to enforce their memory and time allocations and to safeguard information. We should not try to bypass this authorization system. Hacking a system to break and bypass our authorization is unethical. Thou shalt not appropriate other people's intellectual output. For example, the programs we write for the projects assigned in this course are our own intellectual output. Copying somebody else's program without proper authorization is software piracy and is unethical. Intellectual property is a form of ownership and may be protected by copyright laws. Thou shalt think about the social consequences of the program we write. We have to think about computer issues in more general social framework. Can the program we write be used in a way that is harmful to society? For example, if we are working for an animation house and are producing animated films for children, we are responsible for their contents. Should animation include scenes that can be harmful for children? Thou shalt use a computer in ways that show consideration and respect. Just like public buses or banks, people using computer communication system may find themselves in situation where there is some form of queuing and we have to wait for our turn and generally be nice to other people in the environment. The fact that we cannot see the people we are interacting with does not mean that we can be rude to them. Common issues of computer ethics. Information privacy. Privacy is a basic human right in a progressive society. With the development of new information and communication technologies, the ability to collect personal information has increased significantly. Cookies. A cookies is an electronic text file that a website places on your computer when you visit it. It will show you as a unique user and track your web usage. Cookies can monitor your visit to a website, tracking how many times you have visited the site, how long you have been in the site, your login information on a particular page, etc. And remember important information about your computer. Web bugs. These are very small graphics, usually invisible to the user, placed in web pages or email messages. They are used to keep track of the number of visits to our website or to record which sections are most often accessed. They may also be used to collect detailed information about online purchases and surfing habits. Spyware. Software that secretly collects information about users, their surfing habits, and or their computer is called spyware. It is often disguised as useful software. Spyware may track websites visited by you and use this information to build a profile about your activities. Some spyware can even collect personal information from forms filled online. Sometimes spyware will also change computer settings, resulting in slower system speed, redirection to different web pages, and loss of internet connection or functionality of other programs. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phone, computers, and tablets. Cyberbullying can occur through SMS, text, and apps, or online in social media, forums, or gaming where people can view, participate in, or share content. Cyberbullying includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. It can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Phishing. Phishing is the act of sending an email to a user while falsely claiming to be an established legitimate enterprise, all in an attempt to scam the user into surrendering private information that will be used for identify theft. The email will typically direct the user to visit a website where they are asked to update personal information such as a password, credit card, social security number, or bank account number. The website, however, is bogus and will capture and steal any information the user enters on the page. Hacking. Hacking refers to an illegal intrusion into a computer system or network. Hackers are highly technical people who secretly break into computers to steal important data or sometimes to destroy it. Hackers not only steal important data but also hack applications and websites to change program logics. Hackers usually tamper with data for unethical purposes, just for an obsession to break the system securities. Although hacking is done without any consent from the user, yet it is not always destructive. Hacking which is done for a good cause, such as national security, etc., is known as ethical hacking. There is an equivalent term to hacking, that is cracking. Crackers are technical people who are expert in breaking into systems to steal important data such as financial details or passwords. That is, sometimes they use key loggers for this purpose. Crackers also cause harm to computers by destroying data. Apart from this, they disturb applications by spreading malwares, changing program logics, and outputs. Spamming. Spam are unwanted bulk emails that come from strange sources. Spam are generally sent in large numbers for commercial advertising. In spamming, millions of copies of the same message are sent to email users worldwide. Spam is a serious security concern as it can be used to deliver Trojan horses, viruses, worms, spyware, and organized targeted phishing attacks. Internet security. Internet security includes the protection of a computer's internet account and files from being accessed by an unknown user. The following steps must be taken to ensure internet security. Step 1. The first and the easiest step to good system security is a firewall. A firewall is a program or hardware device that filters the information coming through the internet connection into your private network or computer system. If you are running Windows XP or Vista, you have a firewall turned on by default. The second step is to install and run the antivirus program, for example, Norton antivirus and McAfee virus scan to detect and eliminate any viruses or worms trying to infect your computer. Even if you have an antivirus program installed, it is best to open email attachment from trustworthy sources. The third step is to install anti-spyware, which detects and removes spywares. Major antivirus programs such as McAfee and Norton have inbuilt anti-spyware. The next step in good computer security is to do your update regularly. This means turning on Windows Update and making sure the updates get installed each month. The final step is to take backups of the important files on your computer at regular intervals. These files may be stored on external hard disks, CDs or DVDs. Intellectual property rights. You know that the property your family has, such as a piece of land or a house, is something you and your family own and on which you have legal rights. No one can use or even have access to your property without your permission. The same is the case with intellectual property. According to the World Intellectual Property Organization, intellectual property refers to creations of the mind, inventing literary and artistic works, symbols, names, images, and designs. It is divided into the following two categories. Industrial properties: inventions, patents, trademarks, industrial designs, etc. Copyrighted property: literary and artistic creations such as books, music, and films, artistic works such as drawing, painting, sculptures, and photographs, and technology-based works such as computer programs and electronic databases. Intellectual property rights protect any property of human intellect, usually by copyright. Thus, it is illegal for anyone to use any information that is found on the internet, such as music, videos, and photographs, without the permission of its creator or owner. Copyright. You may have noticed the symbol in circle C. That is the letter C enclosed in a circle in books, magazines, and also on some web pages. This shows that material is copyrighted. The owner of the copyright is mentioned after the C symbol. Copyright is a form of legal protection provided to creators of original works, that is, the owner of that intellectual property. This right is given for a certain time period, after which the work can be freely used without needing the permission of the creator. Copyright gives the following rights to the creator of any original work: to reproduce the work in various forms, such as printed publications or sound recordings, including electronic copies; to distribute copies of the work; to translate the work into other languages; to create derivative works such as making plays or movies based on the work; to display the work publicly; to transmit or display the work by radio or video calls, broadcasting rights; to sell or assign these rights to others. Software piracy, also known as copyright violation, refers to the illegal copying and distribution of commercial copyrighted software without paying for it. It has a significant impact on economy and causes huge financial losses to the software companies. Since it is very easy to copy or distribute software, people do not realize this. They think there is no countable loss involved in the act of piracy. As software piracy is illegal, you should not download or use printed software. There are many different forms of software piracy. Hard disk loading. Many a times people sell new computers with pirated software already installed. Generally, the buyer does not receive manuals, license agreements, or even the CDs containing the original program. Illegal internet distribution. Some websites provide free downloads of copyrighted software. Such illegal software is a potential source of viruses, making illegal copies for sale. Some individuals sell illegal copies of original software. Original personal software for commercial purposes. Many programs are free for personal use, but require a license for commercial use. Using shareware beyond the trial period without paying for it. Some programs are available for free use for a fixed trial period. After the trial period is over, the user needs to buy the software or uninstall it. Using genuine software on more than one computer. The license agreements of many programs specify that you may only install and use them on one computer. Computer crime. Computer crime, cybercrime or electronic crime, refers to criminal activity where a computer or network is a source, tool, target, or place of a crime. Computer crime can be defined as a criminal activity involving any of the following: illegal access, unauthorized access to a user's computer; illegal transmission of data to, illegal transmission of data to, from, or within a computer network; unauthorized deletion or alteration of data; interfering with the functioning of a computer system; misuse of devices; forgery, electronic fraud, bank fraud, extortion, etc. Hacker and tracker are termed hardly. Hacker and cracker are terms heard frequently in connection with computer crime. Let us understand the difference between two. A hacker is someone with a strong internet. A hacker is someone with a strong interest in how things work, who likes to play with, create and modify things for the enjoyment of doing so. Hackers have in-depth understanding of the internal working of a computer and computer networks. They may break into computers just to know how things work. Unlike a cracker, a hacker generally does not have any intention to destroy or steal data. A cracker is a hacker who breaks into a computer system for personal gains. Crackers may do significant harm by stealing information like passwords or credit card numbers, or by distributing viruses. Several countries have enacted cyber laws to deal with computer crime. To sum up, those set of moral principles that regulate the use of computers are known as computer ethics. Ethics is a branch of philosophy that deals with determining what is right and what is wrong. Privacy is a basic human right in a progressive society. Phishing is the act of sending an email to a user while falsely claiming to be an established legitimate enterprise. Internet security includes the protection of computers, internet account and files from being accessed by an unknown user. Copyright is a form of legal protection provided to creators of original works. Unlike a cracker, a hacker generally does not intend to destroy or steal data.